Good morning and welcome to the Return Homestead. Bright, sunshiny, it's a beautiful spring day, or at least it seems to be. Spring is definitely on its way, and we're going to take advantage of it. We decided today that we were going to get out and begin putting in our fruit trees. Now, any good homesteader knows when you first get on a property, one of the first things you need to get done is getting the fruit trees in the ground, because it's going to be 3 to 4 years before you see a decent harvest. We've got a good variety of apples, pears, peaches, and a couple of other specialty trees. And we're going to get busy putting them in the ground today. So come on with us. It may sometimes be difficult to get the full flavor of what this homesteading lifestyle is like, because we don't show you everything. It's rare that we'll get on camera and show you things like I am now. Or just the act of carrying the T-posts from the truck out to where we want to plant. This is just a lot of trips, heavy weights, carrying stuff around. We know that in general our orchard's going up here on the hill near the well, or above the well. So a lot of what we do on the homestead is really just this.
Be careful.
It's putting labor in on the land here, there, and everywhere. And sometimes you don't see a lot of progress. It's only tiny little increments. But every day of putting that labor in here on the property makes it that much more impressive on camera. It also makes it provide for us better. Right now the land is here, it's capable, it's ready, and it's our labor that's going to transform it into what we need to make all of our provisioning. And that's our goal, is to make sure that our food and all the resources we need are coming right off the land. So Marty keeps a good eye on Facebook Market, and she watches for things like people selling fruit trees. Now, there's nothing wrong with going down to the local nursery and buying fruit trees from them, and we have and will probably continue to do so. But the reality is, most of these local nurseries, they just drive down to Tennessee. They pick up their trees there, and they bring them back up here. Well, we found someone who was making a trip to bring some trees back, and they already had some trees available, and they were about half the price of what you would pay in a nursery. So we went ahead and pre-ordered these, and got them brought in, and went and picked them up today. They were only going to be there for 2 days. It was a dirty little lot, really a muddy lot. On a very precarious little spit of land coming off of the main freeway. It was not an easy place to get to, but it was certainly worth the effort. $190 for, what did we get here? So it's 3, 6, 9, 12 trees. So $190 for 12 trees, pretty good bargain. We're really excited to get these things in the ground. We got all sorts of stuff here. This is I have no idea. This is a Kieffer pear here, Gala apple. We've also got golden apples. We've got a Fuji apple. I know there's a plum in here. There's a couple of persimmons in here.
That's a peach right in front of you.
We've got a couple of peaches in here. So this is probably one of the peaches.
It is. It says peach.
Oh, is that what it says at the bottom?
Yeah, it does.
Hey, there we go. Belle of Georgia. So it's a Belle of Georgia peach.
We also have a contender, two persimmons.
Yep. And there should be a red
Mulberry.
Red Haven
Red
peach.
Haven peach.
He did text me and say that he forgot to put the mulberry in here. So I asked him to save one aside for us. And he had the Russian red mulberry, which is a native to North America. I don't know why it's called Russian red, but it is a native mulberry to North America, and it has been hybridized with the white mulberry, which is invasive in most areas. And so it's one of those plants that it's hard to come by these days, is the red mulberry.
Did we get 2 pairs? You have to have 2 for pollination.
I do believe we have 2 pairs.
Okay,
in here.
so
Yeah,
there's a Kieffer and something else.
One other
Okay.
type of pear in here.
All right.
Right now we just need to get these all offloaded, get them onto the ground up top, figure out where we're going to put these things. We'll start digging holes and getting them in the ground. We know the plum is ready to go. The plums are actually already budding out, so they are good to go. It looks like this peach is ready to start putting leaves on as well.
Plus we have rain coming, so
Yeah.
it's perfect for planting trees.
Yeah, it's great timing for this. We're going to be almost 60 degrees today. It feels fantastic out here, and we're just not going to waste the day inside. We're going to get out here and enjoy the sunshine.
70 next week, at the end of this week.
All right, so let's start dragging some of these things out of here.
Okay. That's a peach.
That's your Belle of Georgia.
That's a peach.
Let's see what we ended up with on this haul. There are 4 apple trees here. There's a Fuji, a Gala, a Macintosh, and a Golden. So we're going to get those planted. Those are going to go down here in the bottom corner of the property where we were installing the fence earlier. So we'll put them down in this area below the weeping willows. And the reason why is apple cedar rust. We want to keep these trees as far away from the cedar trees as we possibly can. And so the rest of the fruit trees that we got are up here in what will become the orchard. We've got a lot more orchard space to fill. So let me show you what we've got going on up here for right now. So we only got 1 plum so far. The grower tells me this is a Santa Rosa plum. I didn't want multiple of the same type of plum, so we decided to just go with 1 tree for now, and we'll add trees as we find other plums to add to them. Over by what we are hoping is a maple tree, at least that's what all the online resources are telling us so far. We've got a ring of peach trees. We've got a Red Haven, Georgia Belle, or Belle of Georgia, and a contender peach. So those are going to go up around this maple tree. And then just above the plum here, we've got a Kieffer pear. And on the other side of this big tree that we haven't identified yet is a Bartlett pear. And then we have 2 persimmon trees that we're also going to plant in this area. So that'll get us a good bit of fruit started here in the orchard.
They probably don't show very well on camera. But
Not
they're
yet.
There.
Yeah, they will show well here shortly. Hopefully by now y'all have seen about 1,000 different tree planting videos. So you already know to dig the hole the same depth as the pot and about twice as wide, so you got plenty of room to move the plant around and put some loose soil in around it. So you don't need to hear all that from me. Really all that's left to do here is to mark out where we're going to dig and get the hole in. So let's get busy digging. Definitely don't want to waste any of this sod. This grass is nice and healthy, got a good thick root system. I want to try to keep as much of that intact as I can. That way as the orchard's getting started, we don't have to do a whole lot to manage and maintain it. There's not a bramble patch trying to grow up around the trees. It's just grasses. They can be cut, but they don't have to be cut every day or every week. So they can be left to grow for a couple of months before cutting them down. Eventually, we'll bring the sheep up in here. We'll let them keep the grass down in the orchard, but by then these trees should be decent size that they won't mess with them. Yeah, if we need to, we can always cage the trees to keep sheep a other animals away from them. Usually when I plant a tree, I also like to go just a little bit less shallow than the bucket, so that when I place this sod back around the tree, there's room for the tree to be above the sod. Now it may seem weird to get all excited about nice dark dirt like this, and I am excited about that. I also see a bunch of earthworms running around in here. So this is a really good spot, in my opinion, for putting in an orchard. And this is going to be a real good spot for the trees to begin growing. Hopefully they'll do well here for many years. There's at least one or two roots from this big tree here where I'm digging the hole. And I don't know, some people would say you don't want to plant in an area where it's going to have to compete with another tree, especially one so large. But a lot of the research that I've seen here recently says that this is actually a great place to put another tree. Apparently the trees share resources and even information from time to time with each other, and so they actually they do better in forests and in bunches. That seems to suggest the best place to plant a tree is where there's already some tree roots. big chunk of jasper here. Lots of interesting rocks digging around here. So that's definitely a little deeper than what I needed. So I did do that on purpose. Dug out the bottom of the hole a little bit further than what we would need so I can refill. I want to go back in the bottom of the hole with this dark, rich soil that is up on top, so this topsoil. That way I've got plenty of good nutrients underneath the tree for it to grow into and to encourage the root growth downward. And I'll save that clay out. We'll keep the clay separated. There's enough mixture inside of this pot that I won't need to use that clay back in the hole. And that'll make sure that there's plenty of nutrients underneath and all around the tree roots. It's also looking at this bark that they put on the top of the pot here. This is not something I want to put into the ground. I don't mind wood chips. In fact, I love wood chips as a ground cover. But they do need to sit on top of the soil where they have plenty of time and resources to break down all the way. If we put this in the soil, all it's going to do is trap nitrogen and keep that away from the roots of the tree. So I'll be careful to make sure we don't put any of that loose wood chip down inside the hole. All right, let's get a little bit of fill back in here. See if we can level this tree off a little bit. You'll notice as the dirt goes back in the hole, it goes in loosely. And the dirt that we took out was all nice and tightly packed. That's one of the reasons I like to make sure that the tree itself is slightly above the level of the local sod. So that when I come and put the sod back in here, it's actually going to make a little bit of a mound around the tree to keep it up, because this is going to settle down over time. And as it settles, I don't want the tree to end up in a valley that gets filled up with water. So we make sure the tree itself stays out of the water. So I don't know if you can really tell, but we've got the bucket slightly taller than the sod around it. And all I'm trying to do is make sure that that tree is actually sitting up a little bit so that when I pack this big chunks of sod back in around it, it actually makes kind of a mound for it. Yeah, when we talk about returning to the land, labor, and life, Marty and I were just startled. We heard this strange noise we couldn't explain, turned around and looked, and I saw two buzzards that were chasing each other, and they were involved in a fairly aggressive dive. And we were actually hearing the wind as it whistled across their wings. That's how quiet it is out here. This tree fell over on us as we were coming home, and I noticed it's actually fairly loose in the pot. So probably technically this tree could have grown in the pot for at least another season before it was sold in this size pot. It looks like they got nothing but wood chips in here. Yeah, I don't mind leaf mulch around tree roots, but wood chips is no way to go, guys. Okay, well, this might have well has been a bare root tree here. All right, so when buying trees at a discounted price, be aware things may not be exactly what you expect. That's all right. We can adjust and adapt here. We're homesteaders. Hey, baby, I could use your help.
Yep.
Over here to hold the tree up for me.
Okay.
Buckets full of nothing but wood chips.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, so there's nothing to support the roots at all.
Oh, we'll use those in the garden.
Yep. So yeah, these wood chips make a nice top dress, but that's about all they're really good for. Yeah, I didn't want to put the clay back in, but I don't have anything else to work with, so it's going to have to go in here some.
It's fine.
Yeah, the clay won't hurt anything. In fact, the clay's got all the good minerals that the tree will want as it continues to grow. So I'm just going to mix it in here with the topsoil. I just didn't want a big lump of hard clay down at the bottom. So this way the roots of the tree will go down as well as out, because there's plenty of nutrients below the tree.
Lots of worms.
Yeah, the worms are insane in this stuff.
That's why we have some.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think they can. If they can. Cool.
Oh. Marty was just saying that we have been fighting these cluster flies inside of the house. Well, the cluster flies lay their eggs on earthworms, and the larval stage of the cluster fly is parasitic to the earthworms. And so wherever you got a lot of earthworms, you can expect to see a lot of cluster flies, and that's why we've been dealing with so many of them. Not necessarily a bad thing.
That's a raptor.
That is a raptor. Hopefully he sees us and leaves the chickens alone. That should hold.
Okay. Help around.
Thank you, baby. Y'all saw we did have T-posts. Those T-posts to help us brace these trees up. Take at least 3 T-posts and drive them in the ground out away from the tree, and then use wires and some rubber hose around the tree itself to pull back towards the fence posts. And that keeps the tree nice and tight in a central position, and also make sure that whenever the wind hits the tree, it's pulling at least against 2 of those wires to keep it from blowing over, hopefully. That is the plan. Because we didn't save any of the dirt out of the hole, everything went back in. So there we go, Kieffer pear in the ground. Yeah, rinse and repeat on the other trees that are here. Because this one was so loose, I am going to have to get it tied up. So I'll have to take a moment here to get some posts in the ground, get some wire out, get this thing tied up so it doesn't get blown over in any windstorms tonight. So we just get 3 T-posts in the ground right around the tree, right around the base, about equidistant apart. And we're going to tie up towards the top where the posts are white, and we'll tie those all over to the tree and then get everything nice and tight. So we're pulling the tree in all 3 directions at once. So this 17 gauge wire is actually a little bit thin for this purpose, but it's what we have on hand right now, so we're going to make it work. Just want a good section of it. Give you plenty to work with. I do have some small pieces of hose. That's to protect the bark of the tree. So wrap that around the tree. And then just because I'm not sure this hose is going to be enough to wrap all the way around the tree, I've also got some wire wrap. It's used mostly in automotive installs. wraps nicely around wires. So put that also around that hose, and that's going to give me, I think, a nice solid platform to tie from. And the idea here is that we can twist the wire to tighten it up, shorten up that distance. There's one. So now it's just a matter of twisting these wires in the middle, and that's going to give us the tension that we need. I don't want to bend the tree in any direction. I just want to get a good pull in all three directions. It was a $15 tree. Wow. Yeah, it's 10 feet tall. I'm not real thrilled about the fact it came, essentially bare root. A bucket full of wood chips is not an appropriate thing to plant a tree in. But we've got it in the ground now. It's surrounded by soil. The roots looked fine. I'm not worried about the tree at all. I'm sure it's going to take off and do just fine. All we have to do is repeat this, 11 more times just to get those trees in. Plus we got a bunch more trees on the way. And fruit bushes. We are looking at all sorts of different types of fruit bushes. If you have any favorites that you'd like to recommend we grow so you can see what those grow like, let us know. We'll put anything in on the ground here. We've got a lot of interesting ones that we're looking at. Sea buckthorn, hackberry, a lot of interesting berries that we're putting in to increase the amount of food that we can generate here on the homestead. We do appreciate you joining us on the Return Homestead today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please take a moment to do that. And while you've got that window open, hit the thumbs up icon. That's going to let the algorithm know you enjoyed the video, and they'll share it out with more people. And we'll see you next time.